Welcome back to the Garifuna Experience podcast. I'm your host, José Francisco Ávila. Today, we're diving into a crucial and often overlooked chapter of our history, the Garifuna people's complex role in the Central American independence revolutions. This isn't just a story about heroes and villains. It's a story of shifting alliances, incredible resilience, and the constant fight for survival in a rapidly changing world. So let's get into it. A complex fight for survival. The late 1700s to the mid 1800s was a period of global change. The American Revolution had already shown that independence was possible. And soon, all of Latin America, except for Puerto Rico and Cuba, had broken free from colonial rule. It was an age of new nations and eventually the universal abolition of slavery. But for indigenous and Afro-indigenous populations like the Garifuna, this era was incredibly complicated. Remember, our people had just been exiled from St. Vincent and resettled in what is now Honduras. In a surprising twist of fate, our ancestors initially allied with Spain and fought against British pirates who were threatening the coast. This early alliance will set the stage for a very complex relationship with the idea of independence itself. Their history during this period highlights their complex relationship with colonial powers and their ongoing struggle for recognition and land rights in the post-colonial era. When the Central American independence wars began in the 1820s, the Garifuna found themselves caught in a difficult position. They often sided with Spanish royalists or conservatives, who defended the clergy's traditional power, mistrusted foreign models, and were more traditional in their outlook. Against the liberal forces led by General Francisco Morazan, who advocated for independence and diminishing the power of the Catholic clergy. This wasn't a blind allegiance. It was a strategic choice. They believed the Spanish might offer them more land and stability than the new governments, which were largely run by criollos or Creole elites, the descendants of the Spaniards. Alliances and consequences. To understand this, let's look at what happened in Trujillo. A Mexican colonel named Vicente Dominguez was expelled for opposing Honduras leader Francisco Morazan. He came back in 1831 and seized the fortress of Santa Barbara in Trujillo. Dominguez's plan was to restore the Spanish monarchy, and his alleged supporters included merchants, priests, and crucially, the Garifuna people. Because of this alliance, the Garifuna people faced significant backlash for their loyalty to the colonial power. This persecution led to widespread discrimination and forced many Garifuna to migrate from Honduras to the coastal areas of Belize, Guatemala, and Nicaragua. Morazan even suggested moving the Garifuna to the Pacific coast, away from their homes on the Caribbean, just to prevent future rebellions. But the story doesn't end there. Our people have always been a force of resistance. In November of 1831, Colonel Ramon Guzman, with 200 Garifuna men, surprised the Fortaleza de San Fernando de Omoa and raised the Spanish flag again. This period of conflict had a profound and lasting impact. The Honduran Civil War of 1832 was a major turning point. General Dominguez, once again with Garifuna support, defeated General Francisco Ferrera. While Morazan's troops will eventually be victorious, the battles were brutal. The last days of the colonial period saw Garifuna men manning royalist garrisons in Trujillo, Tegucigalpa, Omoa, and Guatemala City. Despite efforts by Vicente Dominguez, his defeat and capture occurred in May 1832. The battles encompassed confrontations in Trujillo, Tercales, and the significant engagement at Jaitique, leading to the ultimate surrender of Omoa and the capture of key rebel leaders. Colonel Vicente Dominguez was executed on September 14, 1832. Morazan's forces prevailed. In the wake of this victory, those who had sided with the royalists were accused of treason. Fearing for their lives, a great number of Garifunas were forced to leave their homes, creating a new forced migration that will shape our future. They settled along the coast of Belize, Guatemala, and Nicaragua. Leaders and legacy. This turbulent period also produced some incredible Garifuna leaders who fought for the survival of our people. Juan Francisco Bulnes, also known as Walumugu, was a Garifuna soldier who fought shoulder to shoulder with General Francisco Morazan in the independence process of Central America, leading to the Garifunas being recognized as Hondurans in the 1825 Constitution. He was part of the platoon that fought in the Battle of La Trinidad on November 11, 1827, a significant event in Honduran history, and is depicted on the back of the country's 5 lempira banknote, commemorating the victory of General Francisco Morazan against Federal Republic forces, leading to his presidency of Honduras. The municipality of Juan Francisco Bulnes in the Honduran department of Gracias a Dios was named in his honor. And then there is Alejo Beni. When many Garifunas were forced to flee Honduras after the 1832 revolt, Beni led a group across the Gulf to what was then the British Honduras colony, today known as Belize. His leadership during this perilous journey led to the establishment of key settlements like Dangriga and Punta Gorda. This monumental journey is a cornerstone of Belizean history and is celebrated every year as Garifuna Settlement Day. A story of strength and perseverance. The story of the Garifuna's participation in Central America's independence is a powerful testament to our resilience. It reminds us that our relationship with this independence movement wasn't uniform. Our choices were heavily influenced by our struggles for survival, our need for land, and the preservation of our cultural identity. The 1832 revolt and its aftermath had a profound and enduring impact, shaping our geographical distribution across Central America and solidifying our unique cultural identity in the face of adversity. The coastal regions, isolated from the political centers, became a haven where our language, customs, and way of life could thrive. So, while our participation in these independence movements was complex, our legacy is one of strength and perseverance. Our ancestors navigated the hostile world, secured a future for us, and created a history that we continue to honor today. And that wraps up another illuminating episode of the Garifuna Experience podcast. We've journeyed into a vital chapter of our history, exploring the complex and resilient spirit of Garifuna people. This history is the foundation of our identity, and by understanding it, we are truly driving power, prosperity, and progress for our community. Thank you for listening. And remember, the future of the Garifuna people is in our hands, and we are driving power, prosperity, and progress. Until next time, stay united, stay proud, Sungube Lida Aba. Ayo. Find new episodes of the Garifuna Experience podcast every Tuesday. Follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, and iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the Garifuna Experience podcast. Your support helps us share our vital Garifuna experience with more people around the world.